got a really special first edition of the social media success stories. On with me today is Anastasia, and we're going to go through her business and how she finds social media and, you know, how she finds it successful for her business. She's got an Instagram, a Facebook group, which is really successful. How many people have you got in that group now?
I was getting close to 1,000.
Yeah.
So I don't like, well, it's exciting because some weeks you get like a lot of new people joining, and if you get more members each week, it gives you a little bit, you can do a bit of a happy dance because you're like, oh yeah, this week more people have joined the community. So it is quite good from that point of view.
Definitely, yeah. But we'll get straight into it. So I'm going to open the floor to you just to introduce yourself and, you know, a little bit about what you do as well. And, you know, anything you think will benefit other pet business owners that they, you know, to know about you.
Right. So my name is Anastasia. I live in rural Northumberland. I am a dog tooth fairy. So I basically sell Pet equipment, which is ultrasonic dog toothbrushes. So I sell those predominantly to dog groomers, but other pet professionals as well, and also dog owners. But my main client base does seem to be the dog groomers at the moment. I also offer online Zoom training courses just to like really let pet professionals hit the ground running when they first get the toothbrush, because it can be a bit confusing of how to, you know, what methods to use with the brush to get the best results and that sort of thing. So I do the Zoom online trainings as well, which are really, really popular. And yeah, so I've not always done this. I was like a dog groomer first, and before that I was a teacher. So I taught animal management at a land-based college, and I did that for 12 years. And then I left that, set up my own grooming parlor, did that for about 8 years. And then a turn in my health just meant that I couldn't do dog grooming anymore because it's really quite a physical job. So I was already using the Pet anyway, and I was already a distributor anyway, but probably about 12 months ago now, 13 months ago, because of my health, I had to let go of my salon. And I've went full steam ahead into the dog tooth fairy and the online courses. And basically like 100% of my work now is all done online. So it's kind of a different way of working than before, because before I was in the community, I was working closely with all my clients. Whereas now my clients are kind of behind a keyboard or behind a screen, or, you know, communicating over WhatsApp and things like that. So it's a different way of working, but I absolutely love it. It's great. And it's opened the doorway to so many more opportunities, because you can get international clients as well, which is fab.
Definitely. Like before I did this, I was an assistant manager in a travel agency. So I know what you mean. Going from being face-to-face clients that way to face-to-face like this, I've met so many more people that I would never have met if I just stayed in my little travel agent shop in South Wales sort of thing. So yeah, it's mad how far your business can grow. And I think that again is a really important part of the social media sort of world and the online world, is how much further we can reach. So we're not just having to, you know, stay in our salons or stay in our local areas. We can reach a whole new sort of audience nationally and internationally, as you just said. So definitely. Yeah, that's great. So thank you for that really good introduction. So we'll get into a little bit about social media. So what sort of platforms do you use at the moment?
So I'm a bit old school in that I use predominantly Facebook and Instagram. Those are the ones that I've been using ever since I got a smartphone, which was around about, I guess, 2010. And so I got into Facebook and Instagram quite quickly, and I got used to those. So when I went into self-employment and I thought, right, I can use social media from a business, those were the two platforms that I leaned towards. I've never ever tried Twitter because it just scares the life out of us. And I know that if I got into something like that, I'd probably get really hooked on it. So I've never been a Twitter girl. I'd really like to get into like TikTok and Instagram Reels and things like that, but I'm not very down with the kids. I think I need to like hang around with some teenagers or something and get some tips. But yeah, I really want to get into those as well, because it seems that those get a lot more views and followers and things. So I think I need to like move with the times from that respect.
But to be fair, there's a lot of pet businesses that are still predominantly on Facebook. So branching into Instagram is really good. But I find as a pet business owner, the majority of inquiries I see from my clients and people in the community, they come from Facebook. Yeah. So even though getting down with the kids sounds all great, it's where those customers are going to be. But for you, for example, versus like a dog groomer, your clients could be on TikTok because you can ship internationally or nationally. So, you've got that audience. But I'm assuming from what you're saying, the platform you find most useful is Facebook?
Yeah, so when I had my grooming salon for like 8 years, I found that Facebook was a really brilliant marketing tool. So that was where all of my local clients would find me on Facebook. Whereas Instagram, if I put pictures of, a nicely groomed dog and hashtagged it, I could have people looking at my grooms from Australia or the USA, and they could go, oh, lovely groom and that sort of thing. But they're never really going to like put the dog on a plane and bring it over to the UK and get the dog groomed by me. So I felt that unless I had an online shop and a product that I was selling, those people around the world could see what I was doing on Instagram, but it didn't really have any financial gain as such. But I mean, now with the way that the times are moving, and especially since the pandemic and things, a lot of people want to be at home. They want to be looking at Zoom screens to like learn new skills. So, I mean, if there's any groomers out there or pet professionals that wanted to like branch out, I know a lot of dog trainers and things do online stuff, but for groomers, you could do like simple groom your dog at home, like online webinars, and like sell those through Instagram and like get loads of clients from around the world to watch your stuff. So like the possibilities are endless, really.
Yeah, and the world really is your oyster now, now more than ever, especially like I have a few clients who are very old school in the fact that you book your sessions, you go to them and that's it. But I have some and they're branching into your memberships, things like that. Well, you take Vicky with the pet accountancy with a new podcast, all that sort of stuff is keeping up with the times, and it's really relevant now. But back to what you were saying with Instagram and people like it far and wide, it is something that I always say we all worried about the vanity metrics when it's the inquiries through the door we really need. So worrying about thousands of followers has never been on my agenda, and it's something I try and show to people myself. You've got to be thinking more about the inquiries you're getting through the door rather than how many sort of likes you had on a post. It's always lovely to see, isn't it? But it's not going to sell your products for you, is it?
It's like a nice ego boost if you get like a lot of likes, like
exactly. Yeah, I
think I've only ever done one reel on my social media, and it was like my little sausage dog just running along the beach with a big massive stick in a mouth, and it had some like little cute music to it, and I was shocked at the amount of like likes that got, because it was a reel, so it seemed to get more visibility. I was like, oh, look at all these likes.
Yeah. And I always find with reels as well, it's the ones we put probably the least amount of effort into that always do the best. The ones we spend hours on, or I see that people spend hours on, get like a couple of hundred, but the ones we have like that are really crazy or 5-minute ideas, they get thousands upon thousands of views. So yeah, it is mad how the real world is working, but it is good too. So hopefully for people who have got online parts of their business or completely online businesses, it's a real benefit to be getting on that TikTok and real sort of thing. But yeah, so how did you feel really when you started your Emmy pet journey with using social media? How did that make you feel? Were you quite apprehensive about starting the online journey?
So I was already using the social media for my grooming parlour. So I was using Facebook and Instagram. I think it's when I kind of realised that my distributing, I was going to start to actually get quite serious with it, because before that, I think my Dog's Tooth Fairy Instagram page was showing before and afters of clients' teeth that I brushed and that sort of thing. And it was quite difficult because my Facebook page for the Dog's Tooth Fairy had a lot of clients on there. And then when I got more into the distributing side, and I wanted to promote to groomers, how they could increase their income and get clients to pay this much to get the dog's teeth cleaned. It was kind of awkward because there was already clients in my Facebook page that were coming to me to have the dog's teeth cleaned. And then I was talking to groomers and saying, oh, you can charge this much and make this much money. So I kind of, that's when I started the little, the extra group that was specifically for pet professionals to get advice and guidance.
That's great. So yeah, moving on to the group then. So obviously you use that Facebook group to speak to your clients. Mm-hmm. What was the real reason then behind it? I know obviously you've got your clients on you had your clients on your main page, but did you think actually the best way wasn't to start a new page and to just put a Facebook group out there instead?
I think it's after Facebook had all the algorithm changes and everything, and a lot of things that you were putting on your page weren't necessarily being looked at. Whereas in the groups and the communities, Facebook seems to allow a lot more to get through to your audience. So that's when I realized the value of having a community space or a group. And that's when I created EmiPet Made Simple with the Dog Tooth Fairy, it's called, because I just want to make EmiPet really simple. Because it's not rocket science, but a lot of groomers are so busy, or pet professionals are so busy. They get the kit and then they just leave it in the box and it gets dusty. And then they're like, oh yeah, I will get around to doing that. I will open the box sometime soon. And all the time that they're doing that and the box is just sitting on the shelf, they're just losing so much money. Yeah. So for me, it's about making it really easy to them and having a communal space where they can ask questions. Everybody's really supportive. There's never a question that's too silly to ask. And now I've sort of got this army of pet professionals that are almost experts because they've all took my Zoom online training course, and they're almost like little worker bees in the hive, because I'll be looking after Scarlett or something, and I don't often go online till maybe it's about 8 o'clock at night. And if somebody's asked a question through the day, then other people in the community have swooped in and answered the question and answered it really well. And I'm like, oh, wow, they're all helping each other out. This is fab. And then I will swoop in later on when, Scarlett's gone to bed and things. And I'll just say, yeah, that's right, what so-and-so said. And it's just a lovely space.
Yeah, it's always good to have that group community as well. And especially when you really hit the ground running with it. Like at the moment, the pet business owner community is growing, but it's also requiring me to put a lot of effort into it. Whereas when you hit that certain status with a group, they start overtaking for you and they're answering these questions for you. But for you, what sort of things are you posting in that group to, encourage people and sort of motivate them with EmiPet?
So at the moment, I put people's success stories. So I've recently recorded a Zoom with a lovely lady who did my training course, and she had just completely done something different to what her business was. So she's got an equine livery yard, and then she took my training course, got the EmiPet toothbrush, and she just decided she had a bit of space to accommodate dogs, and she wanted to have this teeth cleaning service as part of her business. So I had her on and we had a lovely little chat. I recorded it on Zoom and I put that on my community, and that was good because groomers or pet professionals that are sitting on the fence and they're like, am I going to get EmiPet? What's it going to be like? They can see Hannah talking about it and how much it's benefited her business financially, and how she loves it so much, and just things like that. I try to add every now and then just to give people a bit of inspiration.
Yeah, well, that's the main part, isn't it? That's what you're there for. At the end of the day, you're wanting these people to obviously trust you and trust the brand you're trying to sell. But sometimes us speaking and saying, look how great this is, never even amounts to how great it is for somebody to come in and say, well, look, I can be a first-hand, sort of testimony that this is, whatever your business is, this is solid, or this is a really good sort of thing to get into. But it's good that you have that community and they do that sort of thing for you. So the Facebook group's going really well for you. And then in regards to promoting that, is it more now people just join in because people are inviting them, or are you still promoting the group?
So if anybody's bought a kit off me, or if anybody's done my training course, they get like a standard email sent out that just says, these are the ways that I can help you, and these are the ways that you could get support. And then I pop in that email about the Emmy Pet Made Simple with the Dogtooth Fairy group. So anyone that's done my training or anyone that's bought a kit can go there. But I suppose I could do more of like going in other groups and things and like name dropping my group, but it can be difficult because some groups are quite standoffish, and if you tread on anybody's toes in a certain group, it's like you can't post that on that day because it's not a Tuesday. And
Yeah.
So that's why I think like collaborations like this are brilliant, because obviously my followers in my community, when I share this video, they'll see you if they don't know about you already, and vice versa. So it's really helpful.
Yeah, and collaborations, I think, even between people who are in sometimes direct competition, work really well as well, because you're it's a very lonely world, isn't it? These sorts of worlds when you're competing against other brands and businesses. So collaboration is a much better way, I think, than competition. But yeah, for the groomers or the people, the business owners you've got in your group, and the people I've got in my group, well, I've had people, probably come over to you, and I know that there's been people that you've shared this, talking about the date and everything, coming up, that have come across to me. So it is definitely worth having collaborations with pet business owners. If you're thinking about it, it's definitely something I'd advise doing. And this is what this series is about. It's getting loads of different people in to speak about their businesses, and just say how great social media has been for them. Because even if it doesn't inspire you or me because we do it, it might inspire somebody else to get on board and start learning about things other than social media. For example, Emmy Pet, things like that. But on to the subject of getting things going, your Instagram's doing quite well for what you do. So how did you get to where you are now? How are you over the 1,500 followers?
I don't know really. I don't think I'm not a planner, so I know that I completely see the value in planning and having like content ideas and a strategy, and schedule and your posts and all that sort of thing. But I am a bit hand to mouth, and that's because I'm like a full-time single mom. So it's just like when I get little pockets of time, I'm like, oh, should I post this? And and then some days I get that slump like anyone, where I'm just like, ugh, I'm just feeling uninspired. I've got like a creative block and I just don't know what to post about today. So then that's why I think it's really valuable to follow people like yourself, because you're always giving away a lot of free content for pet professionals to look at, but giving ideas like that thing that you did with the 30 days of 30 post ideas was fantastic. And you were giving away all that content for free to pet professionals and stuff like that. You can always get inspiration off looking on social media at other people's ideas and thinking, well, I'm not inspired today, but I'm going to look at this and see if I can get some inspo.
Yeah, and this is, I always say to people as well, there's never really such thing as an original idea, and social media is a very much a product of that. And the reason I run that challenge is, yes, not all posts would be applicable for yourself, but somebody who was, like you said, really stuck for content that day, all right, it might not be 100% aligned with their brand, but at least they're putting that content out. So I'm glad you saw the challenge, and I'm glad that a few other people were, they were tagging me in it, which is fantastic to see. And the audience you serve will never be directly the audience I serve. You, even though we probably speak to the same sort of people, being dog groomers and other pet professionals, they will never be for the same reason. So if our posts are of a similar level, that's okay. Social media is that sort of thing. Trends happen all the time, and I think it's important for people to jump on them. Even some people might say, well, that's my idea. There is no original idea with social media. So I definitely see the benefits of learning off each other on social media, because that is the way you're going to learn with social media. You could read 100 books or do 100 courses, but the best way to learn about social media is definitely doing it. And it's the same with reels, same with TikToks and that sort of thing. You've just almost got to throw yourself off the deep end into them. But yes, you obviously have a really pretty sort of brand behind you with the pinks, the blues and that sort of thing. I love, that wallpaper. Oh my gosh, I want it, But how do you then create that content so it aligns with your brand?
So I love your branding too, by the way. I think it's awesome. I love anything that's pink and girly. So my sister's a graphic designer, so she is quite pernickety, should I say, about like attention to detail. And although I'm not a graphic designer, I think I've kind of got that in me from her and like watching her work on a Mac and everything. And when I first started out, I was always going to her, like, can you design this for us? Can you design that for me? And in the early days, she could do that because she only had a young baby at the time and she just had a little bit more time on her hands. But as the years have gone on, she got more and more client work. She had another baby and now she's just totally stowed off. She hasn't got time to do anything for me. So she did the Dogtooth Fairy logo for me just really quickly because I said, can I have like a quick logo? So she did that. I was actually trying to get a caricature of me as a fairy with my two dogs and like a little toothbrush and stuff by like someone that draws caricatures. But that lady was so busy, like I was never going to get it done in time. So my sister swooped in and did this, and you know, it's I like it. And actually, in hindsight, so many groomers and pet professionals have the caricature logos. At least it's not going to cause any confusion with any other brands. But now I'm the Canva queen. So although I'm scared of Reels and TikToks at the moment, I did teach myself how to use Canva, which I'm really surprised about because my brain is not very good at learning new things. But after I played about with it a few times, I grasped it. Now I absolutely love it. And I can create like quite nice visual content without having to go to a designer because it lets any bog standard Joe Blogs person like me become almost like a graphic designer. So I love Canva as well. It's brilliant.
Canva is my best friend. And I am not, people when they say about social media managers and things like that, I'm not a graphic designer. I am probably the most farthest person away from a graphic designer. I'm not very good at that sort of stuff at all. But Canva is, if you haven't got it as a business tool, you are missing out. It is such a staple application to have to create your content. It is unbelievable in its facilities. If you are stuck for content, for example, I have one dog, but I don't want to repeat my one dog in every single other post. So I have access to a library full of dogs and, breed specific too. You're thinking, I was thinking the other day, I was doing a piece and it was a gun dog breed. I think it was, what was it? It wasn't a German Wirehaired, but it was something similar to that. And I was like, this is not going to be on Canva. I'm going to have to go far and wide to find this dog. But it was on Canva. So, it is definitely, a really good place to create content. So is that somewhere you create, your testimonials and things to post?
Yeah. And what I really love about Canva is once your templates are there, you just literally like dropping new words in and changing the pictures about a bit. So for my testimonials, I've got the template that I've set, just how I want it to look. And like literally as soon as somebody gives me a review, I can say, do you mind sending me a picture of yourself? And do you mind if I like put it into this pretty grid? And like within about 30 seconds, I can have that knocked together and I can send it back to the person and go, look what I made. And then they love it. So yeah, it is really easy to use once you get the hang of it.
Yeah, it's like anything, isn't it? Getting to grips. So with the thing is, I say about social media, and social media is much more than just posting, isn't it? It is that background work. It is Canva. It is, engaging with your community and things like that. So I definitely know how hard it is to run a business and then also run your social media. And for me, for example, I'll put up everybody's posts that day and I'll be like, I've not posted for myself today, so I definitely do see that side of things. But having Canva and its templates and everything it can do, for sizing as well. So your Facebook sizing, your Instagram sizing, even your stories and reels, it is brilliant, isn't it? And obviously, have you got your brand kit and everything set up on there as well? So it's got all your colours and things?
I think so, yeah. I think it'll just match the colours and that sort of.
Definitely it's a brilliant place to use, and it doesn't take that long, does it? Once you've got those templates, it is a drop of a hat to create stuff.
It is really easy to use, but for anybody that's really frightened of using Canva and things like that, and if you're a real technophobe, and you're terrified, then I would definitely suggest, if you can, like afford to stretch to like getting a social media person like yourself to work the social media side, because you'll probably find that by hiring someone that's an expert that can do it for you behind the scenes, that extra income that you're going to like drive, or the extra clients that you're going to bring in, will pay for the social media manager, marketer anyway.
And that's probably the biggest piece of feedback I get myself from my clients, is that I've doubled my worth near enough every month for some, and some I've, you know, accelerated that much further by the clients they bring in. So yeah, Canva I spend my entire life on, so I can sit you and go, oh, it's easy, but for somebody who is, like you said, a complete technophobe, they might find it a little bit trickier. But out of all the applications, if you are going to do it yourself, I find Canva's probably the easiest one to stick a photo on, put your logo on, just post. I was speaking about this the other day to somebody, and we can go really technical with our posts, but sometimes the best posts are the testimonials or the before and afters. They don't have to be really fancy, bringing in some sort of little sticker man, you know, that sort of thing. It's the simple ones that do the best. But yeah, that's great. So, you know, I would love to know your top your social media tips. So what would you say are like your top 3 social media tips you can give people today?
Oh, I did write these down, and I'm going to try and remember what they were, because my printer wasn't working, so I threw my notes off. So my top 3 tips, I would say, planning ahead. So like planning your content ideas and like have a strategy for the week, which it's like, I'm like, don't do as I do as I say. I really see the value in doing that. If I could get to a place where on a Sunday night, I would sit down and go, right, I'm going to plan the content for the whole week and do like a post, say Monday to Friday, of these various things. I think that would help massively, because on Facebook, I know for sure that you can schedule things. And when I have used the scheduler, I've found it amazing, because I always try and time it for around about tea time, because I know that's when my main client base, which is dog groomers, are getting in from work. They're sitting down, they're having a bit of a scroll, maybe about 7 o'clock at night. And that's when I schedule things for roughly about that time. And sometimes I'll stagger things as well. So one might go out a bit earlier and one goes out a bit later. Sometimes I'll do 2 posts in an evening, depending. But yeah, I think scheduling and planning is really good. What else did I need to say about? My brain's gone blank.
That's okay. Just building on what you were saying there, but just quickly about scheduling these sorts of posts. You know, Facebook Meta Business Suite obviously allows you to do the Facebook and the Instagram, and you've got those optimal times. So using that facility, like you said, if you can sit on that Sunday night and just plan even the week ahead, makes your life so much easier, doesn't it? Not having to think about that on top of everything else.
Yeah, and I think just be yourself, be vulnerable, be down to earth, be yourself. If you've had like a shitty day, you know, like don't say that you've had a shitty day every day on social media. But if something's like upset you or whatever, and you want to call it out, like clients no showing, and you want to address a point, then I would say be open and honest, because usually if shitty things are happening in your business, like there's loads of no shows and you're losing money, if you put something on your social media about it, it makes the people that are doing it feel guilty, but also like all of your community and your followers will come forward and give you support, and then it just makes you feel a bit more validated. And I would say as well, don't try to be perfect. So if you're scared of going live or going on videos and things like that, don't watch the videos back and pull yourself apart and think, oh God, like I say all the time, or my makeup isn't perfect. Like people don't care, and they're not going to watch you and scrutinize yourself in the way that you watch yourself. So I would say just try and be you, because that's what your clients will love you for.
Exactly, and being yourself is the one thing I really, portray to clients and on the community. I'm always saying, if you're gonna be anyone, be yourself, because people are gonna see all these. For example, take it back to social media in a different way. People are gonna see you posting all these things, meet you in real life, and go, that was definitely not the same person that was posting X, Y, and Z. So yeah, definitely, social media is a place to be yourself, because everybody else is taken realistically, and they take username wise and everything these days. So yeah, there are some really, really good tips. And I think, yeah, scheduling, being yourself, don't worry about not perfecting everything. They are such important points. And I think on the basis of social media, that's probably what it's built on. Is the place to be yourself, is the place to express how you feel, the place not to be perfect. So yeah, that's great. So
and I've thought of one more tip. Consistency. So this is an area that I struggle with. Sometimes I'm either a famine or a feast, and I do think that's because I'm doing all my social media myself, and I have outsourced other things in my business, and I'm kind of just on the tip of wanting to hire a social media manager at the moment, but there's a bit of a thing going on in my life where at the moment I've got 2 houses that I'm paying for, which isn't ideal. So once that situation gets rectified and I'm just paying for the one house, then I think that I'll definitely be getting a social media manager person, because I can see the value that it would bring to my business, for consistency, because I think your clients need to know that your shop's open. If I don't post things all week, my clients aren't going to think, oh yeah, I need to order some brush heads. She's just reminded me by going live or doing that post. And if you're not going into your shop front or opening your shutters and showing people and putting your open for, sale sign on the door, how are your followers going to even know? You're not going to be jogging the mind like that. So consistency for me is an issue, because I'm not posting. I might not post for 3 nights and then I do post. So I think to be consistent, and I love seeing what Vicky the pet accountant and Bill Betts and things, they have everything scheduled, and they do like motivational Monday and like testimonial Tuesday and things, and it's like that thing that the clients get used to having, the consistency, and they know what they're going to get on each day, and it becomes like a repetition and it sinks into people's minds better. So I need to get better and improve myself in that way, I think.
Yeah, consistency is a real key point, because like you said, if you don't go into the shop and open the shutters, they're never going to know. And that is such a good little saying, and that is a really good way of thinking about it. And consistency doesn't necessarily have to mean that every single day you are ramming your business down people's throats on social media, because that can have the opposite effect. But not showing up is, it's something I've done a few posts on, and it does literally say you need to show up on social media, because other, we'll take it back to the groomer thing. Other groomers will be showing up. How do you expect people to find your business if you are never, or you're like a ghost? There's one post since Christmas and you're expecting loads of people to book in. But that, yeah, like you said, the consistency even of the feeds. I speak to a lot of people about doing stuff like Throwback Thursdays, because on a Thursday, people will know you're going to post a throwback. Or the Motivational Monday, which is something me and Vicky spoke about at length, is, what can we say to people that is going to motivate them? So definitely those sort of things really stick in people's heads. Whatever your business is, whatever you do, you can be that consistent person. And I think, yeah, Facebook and Instagram do definitely, out of all the platforms, reward you for being a consistent poster. Your stuff gets shown a lot more. If you're consistent, even on your stories, you get pushed to the front. So definitely such a great point there. You need to show that you are open for business. But yeah, so what's, one piece of advice you would give a pet business owner, like at the start of their journey, or somebody who feels like, oh my gosh, I hate social media? What's one thing you'd say to them?
I would say, get help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you don't know anybody, if you haven't got any teenagers in the house or anybody that's really tech savvy, the people that you surround yourself with are going to influence you. So if you're surrounded by a whole load of technophobes, you're never going to get the support that you need. So you can reach out in different ways, like you can follow people like yourselves on social media to get tips, or sometimes, like in my area, we've got a government funded called Business Northumberland, and you can go there and do free courses and things to help with your business. And I think they have stuff like that up and down the country. So there is always ways that you can learn new things. But like I say, if you're feeling really overwhelmed by it all and you don't think that you can manage, if you can afford to, even just for, you know, a few hours a week, try and get a social media like manager or somebody that can manage your socials for you and help you to do it from behind the scenes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We all think we have to do it ourselves, don't we? And like Vicky with the accountancy side of things, yeah, I could sit and, you know, do a self-assessment, but do I have the skills to do that? Or am I going to completely fluster myself and just think, actually, I wish somebody else was there to help me with that? Or a VA, you know, that sort of thing as well, sitting there and thinking, do I have time actually to sit and enter all this data, or is there somebody I can pass that on to? So outsourcing is a good piece of advice for anybody at the beginning stage, or somebody who feels like they're losing the will to live because they haven't done a post in 4 days. So that is such a great, you know, tip for those people. And I think another really important thing is, you know, not giving up with it, because even if you don't see the results today with social media, like I've been doing this week with these reels, I'm not seeing, I'm on like 44 views one night, and then the next day it's on 2,000, and you're thinking, if you'd have given up because your reels were consistently on that 44 views, you wouldn't be where you are. And it's the same with your group. It probably didn't happen overnight. You didn't hit me, you know, that those milestones as quickly as I don't know, somebody can do a reel, but you had to be consistent with that group and growing it, I assume.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, yeah. So that's great. So yeah, all I want to speak about now obviously is a little bit more about Emmy Pet and how people can get involved with you if they want to. So if you just want to speak about your Facebook group, or just say about your Instagram and things like that, how can they find you?
So you can find more out about the Emmy Pet ultrasonic toothbrush and how it can enhance and improve your business by following me on social media. So I'm the Dogtooth Fairy, that's my logo, so it's green and pink. You'll find me on Instagram. It's just the Dogtooth Fairy, and Facebook is just the Dogtooth Fairy. And then I have a Facebook support group called Emmy Pet Made Simple with the Dogtooth Fairy. But the Emmy Pet, I mean, it's just transformational. It's the best innovation that I've seen in canine dental health, and I've been in the pet care industry for like 26 years now. It makes me sound really old, but it's the best product that I've seen for dogs' teeth, and it really is brilliant. You know, it gets amazing results, it gets amazing reviews, but it's also helping pet professionals to not have to work as hard, particularly for dog groomers. It's a much easier way of making money. It's less stress and strain on your body. So there's loads of reasons why it's amazing. And it's been transformational for me as well, because with my ill health, which is linked to my childbirth with Scarlet, so it was quite traumatic, and it's left me in a bit of tatters from that. So because of that, I could no longer groom. If I hadn't ever had the Emmy Pet and been doing the distributing, I don't know what I would be doing now. So it can open a lot of doorways, and it's just been transformational for me, like I say.
That's fantastic, especially, you know, it just shows that there are a lot of, I don't want to offend anybody in the group, but groomers that are coming to an age now where they probably don't want to be grooming 6-7 dogs in a day. So yeah, for those people to have a different source of income with Emmy Pet, you know, you must see that all the time where people are in sort of similar boats.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of groomers that have you know, they might have been in the game for 20 years, and they, you know, they've got bad backs, they've got all these sort of health issues, carpal tunnel, and all these you know, arthritis and all these different conditions. So if by them doing teeth cleaning, it's a lighter way of them working, and it's not as physical, it's not as heavy going on them, and they can make better money in a shorter space of time, they can afford to drop back if they want to drop back a day of grooming. You know, it gives that flexibility to be able to do that.
Yeah, fab. And then these courses you do on EmiPet, they're all via Zoom, aren't they? So anybody can book for those?
Yeah, they're all via Zoom, so they're easy to book. You can just contact me at the Dogstooth Fairy. They're 2 hours long, but in the 2 hours, I pack in everything that I've learned about the EmiPet in the last 4 years that I've used the product. So basically, my training just gives people the confidence to hit the ground running with the service. So I might train someone on a Wednesday night, and then by the Thursday, they've got the toothbrush charged up and they're doing the first clients and they're getting amazing results. So it just really gets them to hit the ground running and get great results.
Oh, that's fantastic. And did I see right yesterday or today you were on Bill's group doing something about human teeth brushing?
Yeah. Bill asked me to do a live about the human Emident toothbrush for his health and wellness month that he's doing. And generally speaking, I don't talk about the human Emident toothbrush, although you can get that through myself. But I don't often plug it and promote it because the doggy one is the one that I sell most of. That's not to say that I don't sell the human one, because I do, and it's fantastic. And I use it on my own teeth. It can prevent loads and loads of dental and gum disorders. It's brilliant. But yeah, if anybody's interested in the human one, I can send information on that as well, because it is a really fab product.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for doing this call and being the first guest of the series. I'm sure if anybody has any questions, they can put them in the comments on the Pet Business Owner community. And hopefully when we get you back in up and running, you'll be able to see them. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll just stop the recording here. Thank you so much again. And people can get in contact with you that way.
Mm-hmm.
Fab.
Thank you.